In today's final touch, a Florida mom is seeing quadruple.
She welcomed two separate sets of twins in 1 year. Alexandria Wolston of West Palm Beach had twin boys in March of 2019, Mark and Malika. Then in May, she received news she was expecting another set of boys. On December 27th, Kaylin and Caleb were born. Two sets of twins in 1 year. Wollaston learned it runs in her family and says it's a blessing because both of her grandparents lost twins at birth. She now feels like she hit the twin lottery.
Oh, they're so cute.
We spent some time this afternoon trying to do the math.
We tried to do the math, yeah, but we figured it out.
We figured it out. She was a couple months along when she found out, so instant family in 1 year. All right, that's our time for now. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll hope to see you back here again tomorrow. News 3 Now at 5 starts right now.
Right now, a bill at the state capitol would require consent for medical students to practice pelvic exams on women who are under anesthesia.
Plus, we're learning which presidential candidate names Wisconsin voters will see on the primary election ballots in April.
Plus, the results of an investigation into donations that were thought to be missing from the Vilas Zoo. We'll hear from the sheriff, who says it was all a mix-up in paperwork.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now at 5.
For staying with us at 5, a bill at the state capitol would require all Wisconsin hospitals to get a patient's consent before a medical student could give them a pelvic exam while they're under anesthesia.
Following the Me Too movement and conversations focused on consent, this is the next fight for women to control what happens to their bodies during surgery. Our Amanda Quintana is here with details. Amanda?
Yes, right now, many Wisconsin hospitals with medical students, patients are asked if they're okay with those students being involved in their procedure. But how much those medical students will do is pretty vague. This bill would require specific consent before a medical student can perform a pelvic exam on a woman in surgery.
While having an ovarian cyst removed in 2009, a Madison teacher believes medical students were practicing pelvic exams on her while she was under anesthesia. She came to Representative Chris Taylor with her concerns.
I was like, what? Can this really be going on?
Taylor was shocked to find out this practice has been happening for decades. Women who go in for a pelvic surgery can have medical students training to be OBGYNs come in and practice pelvic exams on them.
There already is supposed to be informed consent from physicians and residents. Medical students do not fall, however, within that parameter. And so it was important to close this loophole and to end this practice finally.
Taylor has introduced a bill to make sure hospitals tell women this could happen while they're under anesthesia and give them the choice to consent to it or not.
Not the church, not the state.
With the Me Too movement and women speaking out and standing up for their own bodily autonomy and integrity, I think that maybe this doesn't seem to be a big deal with practitioners, but for patients, it's a really big deal.
Recently, UW Hospital created their own policy on consent, leading the way, but still, the practice is common at many teaching hospitals.
We're not taking away the ability for people to learn how to be healthcare providers. What we're doing is we are empowering patients to be able to have and use their voices.
While both Representative Taylor and Sargent are known for fighting for women's rights, this is a bipartisan bill. There are 8 Republicans sponsoring it right now. With some, Taylor says there are a few issues they can agree on, but with this bill, they are coming together. Right now, it has been referred to the Committee on Health, and they're waiting to see if it will get a hearing.
All right, Amanda Quintana reporting. Amanda, thank you.
Thank you, Amanda. To weather now, it is the eve of the big chill on the way. Let's check in with Gary. Hi, Gary.
You know, this will be the first time since December 18th where our temperatures are expected to be below normal for tomorrow. And as we look at visible cloud track, there's a batch of clouds coming in from the west. It's actually right along a cold front, which is dropping in. There have been some light snow showers moving through southern Wisconsin. Those are starting to diminish pretty quickly. I think they'll be out of here within the next hour or two. Otherwise, high temperatures today were in the middle to upper 30s. Here in Madison, we topped out at 37. We're down to 32, and notice those temperatures already in the 20s to our north and west. By morning, we'll be in the single digits with wind chills, perhaps as cold as 10 below zero. Tomorrow, we'll start out sunny and turn cloudy in the afternoon with a high of only 22, but a quick warm-up is on the way for Thursday, followed by snow chances over the weekend, I'll tell you what we can expect in just a few minutes.
All right, Gary, thank you. Tonight we are learning more about the search to find 2 men wanted for a Rock County shooting.
The sheriff's office says it wasn't easy. Rock County reporter Adam Duxter has been following the case today and joins us from our Janesville Gazette Bureau with the latest. Adam?
Well, Eric and Susan, it was exactly 1 month ago today that police responded to a call of shots fired near Janesville and Beloit. Now, the shooting occurred near the intersection of Highway 51 and Highway 11, and police say help from the public led them to identify and eventually locate 2 men involved, Virgil Tate and Ronald Hicks. Well, the shooting itself is considered to be targeted. The sheriff's captain told me today he still thought these men were a danger to the public, and to get them off the street feels gratifying.
It's very satisfying when you see a lot of decisions being made at the time and leads being followed up on, and the coordination between agencies and the effort that people put into, and also getting help from the public. You couldn't ask for a better resolution.
Hicks was arrested in Beloit on Christmas Eve, which Burdick says was made possible by a tip to the department that he would be there, while Virgil Tate was arrested in the city of Chicago over the weekend. Both men are expected to appear in front of a Rock County judge in the coming days.
Adam Duxter live in Janesville. Thanks, Adam.
And new at 5, a Fond du Lac man will spend life in prison with no possibility of parole for a homicide in Dodge County. Shortly after being released from prison in 2018, 21-year-old Nigel Schultz shot 36-year-old Bradley Gerke 16 times in the back of the head and torso. Schultz then buried Gerke in a shallow grave in the town of Lebanon. The district attorney said at the sentencing he has never encountered someone with such an extensive criminal record at such a young age, and that he is totally convinced Schultz would kill again if given the opportunity.
School will continue as planned tomorrow for students at Edgerton High School after a gas leak prompted an evacuation this afternoon. The students were briefly sent to the middle school while crews located the leak and shut off the gas. The district says the leak has been addressed and the students were brought back to class before dismissal.
Madison police officers say they have seen an uptick in home break-ins recently. They're advising people to keep their keys to their homes and their cars on their person or in a safe place to make it more difficult for criminals to break in. Officer Tyler Grigg says since you and your neighbors know your property the best, they're the ones to reach out to if you notice something out of the ordinary.
Notice someone across the street with their garage open, maybe at 9 o'clock at night, simply texting your neighbor or giving them a call or walking over there and say, hey, did you mean to leave your garage door open? And it's simple reminders like that because we're all forgetful and we're all busy.
Officer Grigg says they're having a tough time helping prevent burglaries due to staffing shortages.
New at 5, Wisconsin voters will only see President Trump's name under the section for Republican presidential candidates for the upcoming primary. Republican committee members voted unanimously to clear the field for President Trump. Democratic committee members approved 14 candidates to appear on the ballot, including Joe Biden, Michael Bloomberg, Bernie Sanders, Amy Klobuchar, and Elizabeth Warren. The primary election in Wisconsin is April 7th. The Republican-controlled state legislature is asking a federal court to dismiss a lawsuit to prevent hundreds of thousands of voters from being removed from the rolls. Up to 209,000 registered voters could be purged ahead of the 2020 presidential election, where, of course, Wisconsin is a key battleground state. The legislature's attorneys asked to at least put the lawsuit on hold while a separate case seeking to remove voters works its way through the courts.
The Democratic National Convention in Milwaukee about 6 months away now, but today journalists got a sneak peek of what to expect. About 500 journalists came to Fiserv Forum to get a look around the arena. In July, it'll be responsible for sharing news of the Democratic presidential nominee with people around the globe. Wisconsin Governor Tony Evers says the event will also be a chance for the state to share the great things going on here in Wisconsin with the whole world. Members of the media will be back for another walkthrough in the spring. U.S. Senator Tammy Baldwin says she will vote for President Trump's revamped North American Free Trade Agreement. She said in a statement that the U.S.-Mexico-Canada trade agreement fell short, but she supports improvements made by House Democrats. She said the deal increases market access for Wisconsin dairy farmers and cheesemakers.
Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell says he has secured enough votes to start President Trump's impeachment trial and postpone a decision about witnesses and documents that Democrats want. Meanwhile, Trump administration officials are briefing members of Congress about the president's decision to launch the airstrike that killed Iranian General Qasem Soleimani. The president is defending his position, saying Soleimani was preparing for more attacks on Americans.
He was planning a very big attack and a very bad attack for us and other people, and we stopped him.
Iran has vowed revenge for the killing, and Pentagon sources called Iranian military movements, quote, very troubling. The U.S. military is moving more assets, including B-52 bombers.
Puerto Rico's governor has declared a state of emergency after 2 days of powerful earthquakes. The latest struck just before dawn as a magnitude 6.4, cutting power to the entire island. Near the quake's epicenter, at least one person is reported dead. Seismologists say it is impossible to predict when quakes and aftershocks will stop or whether they will get stronger. So far, 24 people have died in the worst wildfires Australia has seen in decades. Thousands of homes have been destroyed. State and federal authorities there are struggling to contain the fire, even with the help from other countries, including the United States. 24 people have been arrested and charged with starting brush fires in the past 2 months. Those fires are made worse by persistent heat and drought, leading many to point to climate change as a factor making natural disasters go from bad to worse.
The Dane County Sheriff's Office has finished its investigation into the suspected missing donation money at the Henry Vilas Zoo.
Now, the investigation found no criminal activity, and all the money has now been accounted for. Jamie Perez joins us now with what exactly happened here and why it led to this investigation. Jamie?
Well, there were hundreds of thousands of dollars that were thought to be missing when the investigation launched in November. And thanks to the sheriff's investigation, we learned that the Zoological Society accounted for those donations differently, and that money had not been included in financial documents that were provided to the zoo or to Dane County. The investigation looked into the near $600,000 discrepancy from 2011 to 2018. And up until last year, the Zoological Society was in charge of counting that donation money. Dane County Sheriff Dave Mahoney says once the county took over that role, it noticed a huge difference in the amount of money that had been reported in the years before by the society compared to the time that they were collecting it.
Different ways that monies were being collected at the zoo when the Zoological Society and the zoo were running two separate processes. After it became just the Dane County Zoo, we were able to go back and reconcile, look at the files from before and after, and find that all the dollars and monies were accounted for.
The Zoological Society responded in a statement less than an hour ago saying, from our perspective, there was never really a question. The society has always prided itself on sound financial oversight and public transparency. The Henry Vilas Zoo is now fully responsible for counting all of that donation money. They said they are relieved to know that all of the money in question is accounted for.
Jamie, thank you. Coming up next at 5, a Milwaukee man builds a custom Packers couch for a popular rapper and green and gold superfan.
And on Wall Street, Tuesday trading, the Dow with a 120-point dive. The Nasdaq falls almost 3, while the S&P was down 9. We'll be right back. Another multi-use apartment complex could be popping up on East Wash. This is according to the State Journal. LZ Ventures proposing a new 10-story building with commercial space and underground parking 3 blocks away from the square. They're asking to demolish houses on that block, along with Clinky Cleaners and a tattoo shop as well. The project timeline, though, is unclear, but the report says the developer is set to have a preliminary meeting with city planning staff yet this week.
A craft store on Madison's west side will close in the coming months. According to a Facebook post, the Madison Craft Market will close by the end of April. They lost their lease due to the redevelopment of Westgate Mall that lost its last major retailer, TJ Maxx, back in May. The craft store has been in business for 30 years. A Milwaukee furniture maker wants to give the ultimate Packers fan, the ultimate Packers fan piece to one very famous Packers fan.
Yeah, this sofa was made completely customized for superstar rapper and Packers superfan Lil Wayne. It took Gibb Fortune in Milwaukee 2 days to make it, including the stitching, the bottle space, of course, you got to have that, and the LED lights. Fortune got the idea after Lil Wayne posted a video on Instagram showing off his own Packers memorabilia.
When I saw him on Instagram, I was like, I want to make him a sofa, you know, to celebrate his love for the Packers. I know he'll fall in love with this sofa because it's one of its kind and he'll be the only person in the world with it.
So he's going to take that couch up to Lambeau Field, do a little tailgating this weekend for the Packers-Seahawks playoff game, and he'll try to contact Lil Wayne over social media so he can give him the couch, or hopes he simply runs into him in person.
That is $1 million business idea.
That is fancy, right? Pretty cool. I don't know what the weather's going to be like up at Lambeau. We're going to get a little taste of winter, certainly for tomorrow, Gary.
Yeah, you know, it could be interesting over the weekend. You can see the snow depth right now. Still some snow on the ground, mainly north and west of Green Bay. Still quite a bit up near Lake Superior, but a lot of the snowpack in central Wisconsin has been diminishing, and of course very little snow here in southern Wisconsin. It'll be interesting to see what this map looks like as we head into next week. Now in the short term, we've had some light snow showers move through southern Wisconsin. Those have really dissipated pretty quickly. I was expecting them to dissipate to our north and west earlier today, but those held together enough just to bring some light snow. But you can see the last of the snow flurries pretty much pushing along the Wisconsin-Illinois state line and dropping to the south. But 3 things you need to know in the forecast. It'll be colder tomorrow. Might be our first day with below normal temperatures since December 18th, with highs only in the lower 20s and morning wind chills perhaps down to 10 below zero. But we'll be windy and mild on Thursday with some afternoon rain showers. And then after a cloudy and quiet day on Friday, the weekend becomes more active with a couple of chances for snow. And as we take a look at alert days that have been put in the forecast, we put them in for Friday night and Saturday morning, and then again late Saturday through Sunday. Now, I want to explain this. Occasional snow is likely late Friday night into Saturday morning. At this point, there could be somewhere, I'm thinking maybe a 1 to 3 inch snowfall, maybe a little bit more than that, depending on the path of a storm. That one is a little more likely. The second system, late Saturday through Sunday morning, right now is a little more iffy, but if it occurs, the computer models are indicating a much higher chance for heavier snow. So one of the future track computer models for Saturday morning showing just a couple of inches of snow, and the second system on Sunday missing us altogether. So that's one of the computer models. The other one shows a couple of inches of snow Saturday morning, but take a look what happens Saturday night and Sunday. That's crazy. But if you take a look at what the computer models are showing, one storm system brings that light snow through Saturday morning and misses us with the second storm system. And then the second one brings some snow in through Saturday morning. And then on Sunday, a big system kind of swings on through. And then once that moves on through, it'll be followed by colder air. So a lot more uncertainty with the second system. But that's why we put the alert days in the forecast. Keep a close eye on the situation if you're traveling. I'm heading to Boston for a weather conference on Saturday, so I'm keeping a very close eye on the weather for the weekend. Live view from the Edgewater Skycam in downtown Madison. Quiet. The snow has ended here in Madison. High today 37, the low 29. Right now we're right at the freezing mark with cloudy skies. Wind chill right now is at 24 degrees, but there is colder air to our north and west. And look at the big storm system in the northern Pacific Ocean. A couple of them. This one will actually turn us mild as it moves eastward, as it takes mild Pacific air and heads it toward the Midwest on Thursday. In the short term, we've got this little shot of colder air, but again, that second system will warm us right back up into the mid-40s on Thursday. So for tonight, any snow showers or flurries flurries will end, then it'll turn clear, breezy, and colder with a low of 9 degrees. For tomorrow, look for a high temperature of 22. Again, morning wind chills could be down to around 10 below zero. We'll see more clouds in the afternoon. Skies clearing out overnight. Low temperatures dropping to the single digits. Highs tomorrow, lower 20s as clouds move in the afternoon. Temperatures rise tomorrow night. And then on Thursday, look for windy and milder conditions with a few rain showers. Highs in the mid-40s. 7 to 10 day forecast. Quiet weather on Friday. Again, snow chances Friday night into Saturday morning, Saturday late afternoon into Sunday morning, and then off and on snow chances for next week. Most of those systems should be relatively quiet, but we'll look for high temperatures in the lower 20s by the end of the week. As we look at first alert traffic right now, there's the view of the Beltline at Park Street. Traffic moving pretty slowly in each direction. Right now, eastbound delays from around Monona Drive back to around Park Street, westbound from around Fish Hatchery Road to John Nolan Drive. As far as travel times are concerned, almost 20 minutes in either direction on the Beltline between University Avenue and the interstate. Heading out of Madison right now down to Janesville, 25 minutes on I-3990 from the Beltline southward, 17 minutes to Sauk City on US 12, and 17 minutes to Sun Prairie on East Washington Avenue and US 151. At your News 3 Now, First Alert Traffic.
All right, thank you, Gary.
Next at 5, autonomous vehicles, organic batteries, tires with no air. Just a few features on display at the Consumer Electronics Show in Vegas. We'll have more on the future of transportation coming up.
U.S. News and World Report has compiled its list of the best jobs for 2020. Software developer takes the top spot. The job has led the pack for for 3 years in a row now. The rest of the top 5 jobs are in healthcare. Dentist, physician's assistant, orthodontist, and nurse practitioner are the next best jobs.
Facebook is banning deep fake videos. Those videos have been manipulated by artificial intelligence. They make it appear that someone is saying something they never actually said, and there's been fear they could be used to try to manipulate the presidential election. The ban differs for Facebook's other policies to fact-check videos and label them as false if they're determined to be misleading. The Consumer Electronics Show in Las Vegas is officially underway, and it's not just computers and smartphones.
Several automakers are revealing the vehicles of tomorrow. CNET's Kara Suboy has a glimpse of what we could see down the road.
This Mercedes looks like something out of science fiction, and right now it is. The Vision AVTR is a concept vehicle that could drive autonomously or be operated with a single controller. It would be powered by organic batteries with menu options projected on the driver's hand. The design is inspired by the movie Avatar, and the film's director, James Cameron, helped with the unveil at CES.
I look at this vehicle here, I see the future.
Honda has its own idea of what the future holds. The concept car can drive itself or be controlled entirely by the steering wheel. There are no pedals.
And you can push on it a little bit and it'll speed up.
I got to take a spin in a simulation with Honda's Marcos Frommer. The steering wheel responds to touch, and a tired driver can transfer it over, letting the passenger take the wheel.
Some people may want to watch a movie, some people may want to work, some people may want to experience the pleasure of driving.
Of still driving.
Yeah.
BMW is rethinking the interior of tomorrow, this one with passengers in mind. There's a comfy chair, an adjustable footrest, a small table, and even cup holders to heat or cool your beverage. Hyundai is taking off in a new direction. The automaker is teaming up with Uber to create flying taxis. The electric SA1 model would lift off vertically at busy cities and reach 180 miles per hour. Roadshow's Tim Stevens says the new convenience could be a reality in 5 to 10 years.
Car will pick you up and take you over the traffic to get where you need to go quickly and quietly and efficiently as well.
Bridgestone has an idea that won't fall flat. It's one of several companies designing tires without air. The flexible, puncture-proof wheels made from recycled rubber are already on some bicycles. Experts believe we could see them on cars in a few years. I'm CNET's Kara Suboy for CBS News, Las Vegas.
And stay with us. Gary will have a final check your forecast in just a moment.
For first, fast, accurate weather updates, watch First Alert Weather.
Tonight on the CBS Evening News, breaking news. President Trump says the U.S. is prepared for an attack by Iran. Tonight, how the U.S. military is getting ready. And the latest from Australia. As the country battles horrific wildfires, the growing movement tonight to lend a hand to the victims. That's all tonight right here on the CBS Evening News.
And finally at 5, a picture that is out of this world. NASA astronaut Christina Cook snapped this image from the International Space Station. It is the first meteor shower of 2020.
Well, she had a, relatively speaking, up-close look at shooting stars that lit the sky. This is above the northern hemisphere. The meteor shower also shows the green bands of the northern lights as well. Cook set a record in December for having the longest single space flight by a female astronaut. She'll stay there through February.
Very cool.
Well, tonight, some flurries moving on out of here. They should be gone probably within the next hour or two. Otherwise, those temperatures are going to start to fall. We're at 32 now. In fact, our high today was 37, so we've already lost 5 degrees. And to our north and west, those temperatures are in the 20s. By tomorrow morning, we'll be in the single digits with wind chills down to about 10 degrees below zero. Tomorrow's high only at 22. A warm-up for Thursday. Over the weekend, alert days for some accumulating snow chances, and then an active weather pattern into next week. Most of those systems will be relatively light, but still temperatures will be closer to normal, especially toward the end of next week.
All right, things to keep an eye on in the next week or so. Gary, thank you. Thanks for joining us at 5. We're back in 30 minutes for News 3 Now at 6.